Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me first say U.S. territories are subject to inequitable Medicaid funding policies, and we can see that today. States, for instance, receive federal matching funds for each dollar they spend in their Medicaid programs, whereas territories are capped by Section 1108 of the Social Security Act, and because of these inequities, Congress has had to appropriate additional funding on numerous occasions to avoid shortfalls in territorial Medicaid programs. And this piecemeal funding obviously creates uncertainty, which jeopardizes the ability of territories to provide Medicaid coverage to Americans residing in these communities. So let me ask you, Ms. Schwartz, what steps can Congress take to ensure that U.S. territories have a steady stream of federal support for their Medicaid program?
As I pointed out in my testimony, the chronic underfunding of the territories results from the combination of the very low caps that are provided annually and the very low matching rate. So addressing both of those is needed to address the chronic underfunding.
Okay, thank you. Nearly 2 years ago, Hurricane Maria made landfall in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, claiming nearly 3,000 American lives. The island is still reeling from the aftermath of this natural catastrophe, and although Congress provided temporary support to Puerto Rico's Medicaid program, it needs this significant long-term federal support, and I believe if we fail to act, Puerto Rico will go off a Medicaid cliff, which could have disastrous consequences for its health care system. So, Ms. Avila, how would the Medicaid cliff affect Puerto Rico's ability to retain and recruit health care providers?
Just to clarify, if we receive the funding, or if we stay as we are right now?
If you stayed where you are right now.
Well, we will not be able to comply with the full requirements of the Medicaid program, and we will be facing a lack of providers, because providers are leaving the island because we are not able to fulfill their needs in terms of reimbursement rates. So it will be very challenging for Puerto Rico to keep our providers in the island.
Right, and that, of course, as we've been stating today, American citizens are being treated as second-class citizens, and it's really unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me ask Ms. Young, as chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I'm the chairman, I always am shocked by the number of people who forget that individuals living in the U.S. territories are American citizens, and Congress has a duty to ensure that the health care needs of these Americans are fully met. So I am proud that I voted for the recent disaster supplemental, which includes additional funding for territorial Medicaid programs, such as those in American Samoa. So, Ms. Young, would you please describe how this funding will help our fellow citizens residing in American Samoa?
First of all, thank you, Congressman, for your vote on the disaster SUP. The availability of the 100 FMAP percentage for our territory has allowed us to resume critically necessary medical services that we had suspended back in March. And it has also allowed us to pay our bills for the off-island medical referral program, and we are now we've reinstated services for durable medical equipment and prosthetics, as well as we will now be able to pay the bills and invoices that have been in arrears for our federally qualified health care centers and our community clinics. So it's been an extremely helpful solution for us through the end of September. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you very much. This is obviously a very important subject. I know that our chair takes it very seriously, and I'm looking forward to working with her to continue to make sure that there are not inequities where we pit American citizens against other American citizens. We're all American citizens. We're all equal, and we shouldn't forget that. Thank you, Madam Chair.